Bitcoin again, guys, beautiful little bull flag continues. I continue to be bullish on Bitcoin just in the short term. Mid to long term, I'm still a little bit nervous about if the stock market really dumps out more. But there's no doubt that money has been hiding. And I think this is the key, guys, is that if the dollar was still the safe haven and wasn't collapsing, if the treasury market wasn't in turmoil, Bitcoin would probably be a lot lower. But there's a certain amount of money globally that is finding a home in Bitcoin right now, and that is keeping it up and actually has broken above this beautiful downsloping trend line. Again, in terms of resistance, a small resistance at 88,500 and then 92. Those are your two levels to watch on the upside.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. In this video, Gareth Soloway will talk about Bitcoin's macro price trends, key support and resistance zones, market cycle stages, institutional inflows, risk management tactics, and trading psychology. Let's catch him up to know more.
Altcoins, by the way, I was looking at some of these. XLM is one of them. And again, I don't really go over a lot of these altcoins, but man, I'll tell you, some of these really look intriguing for breakouts. Look at the XLM, this downsloping trend line is trying to break above this level. Ethereum, if we look at ETH, here, look at this, same kind of deal, downsloping trend line. It's creeping above this downsloping trend line, trying to break out. So honestly, altcoins actually look very, very good right now as well. Gold. All right, gold is nearing an X marks the spot. X marks the spot, just like we've talked about in this wrap-up video. That is going to be major resistance. We'll see if gold can make one more big move up into 3,400. But then look, you have two parallels, amazing two parallels, one going back to the high in 2020 and the low here. Another one, if we flip to the weekly chart, this is the bigger one that goes back to the bull market high of 2011 through these lows. And look at how those two parallels create an X. X marks the spot again, right at 3,400. That should be major resistance. And I do think you get a big 10% pullback off of that on gold. Silver continues to be kind of a non-event. I mean, compared to gold, it really is not doing much here. And you can just see, again, it's up above this line. So maybe it can get up to this level here, but very minimal price action. And then oil, remember I've been saying oil is making a bearish pattern, but could go back to 66 to 65. Sure enough, on Thursday, before the holiday on Friday and the weekend, it went up closer and closer to that zone. Same thing as I talked about earlier in this wrap up. This was support, right? So when support's broken, what do we know it becomes? It becomes resistance. So the idea is we broke it here. This now should be resistance. For me, I am looking to potentially short oil if we get up in here. Look for that next leg down once it gets to 66 to 65.
Robert Kiyosaki, the entrepreneur behind Rich Dad Poor Dad, has delivered a jaw-dropping forecast. He expects Bitcoin to eclipse $1 million by 2035. He points to the United States crushing debt, soaring credit card balances, and a national deficit at all-time highs, alongside rising unemployment and eroding pension returns, lamenting that pensions are being stolen. Drawing on warnings first laid out in his early 2000s book, Rich Dad's Prophecy, Kiyosaki argues that a great, or even greater, depression is on the horizon. Yet he insists this looming crisis presents an unparalleled wealth opportunity. By snapping up gold, silver, and even a fraction of a Bitcoin amid the market downturn, investors can emerge very rich once the dust settles. Kiyosaki maintains that owning half a single BTC could prove life-changing when prices rebound. His cheekiest claim, it will be the easiest money you ever made. Alongside his Bitcoin mega-target, he pegs gold at $30,000 per ounce and silver at $3,000 per coin by 2035. At the moment, Bitcoin trades near $84,967, up about 2% this week as it recovers from the Powell-induced sell-off, setting the stage for what Kiyosaki believes will be crypto's greatest leg up.
What we have here is looking at this chart, we see the 10-year yield was in a downward trajectory. And then all of a sudden, when the stock market started to collapse based on the trade war, we saw instead of yields going down, which is what they should have done, they started to rip up. We broke out above this level, and now we've come into support. Remember, so the big, in technical analysis, the big methodology point is that you have resistance, resistance, resistance. But when resistance is finally broken, it now becomes support. Okay. And therefore, the retrace is now likely headed that way. So that's an important kind of methodology point that we have to understand in technical analysis. And if this is correct, yields actually are slated to go a little bit higher here in the near term. Now, remember, we talked about at the beginning how Trump has been talking about maybe firing Jerome Powell. The reasons why that is very unlikely is if he fires Jerome Powell, it would basically make the whole world question the dominance of the U.S. in terms of, well, if the president can just fire anyone at the central bank at will, what kind of investment are we making in the U.S. by buying treasuries and buying these other things? So the idea is that if that happened, yields would likely shoot up north of 5%. And interestingly enough, what do we know? We know that because of this move, this is the reason why Trump backed off on the European tariffs, because this was putting so much pressure on the financial system with higher rates, with $9 trillion to refinance in U.S. debt, that he needed to back off so yields would pull back down. So listen, trade war, it's likely still going to inch back up off this support. If it breaks, that would be actually a very good thing. It would probably tell us that we have a calm down in the trade war. But ultimately, based on charts, we're going to go at least a little higher in the near term on yields. The one thing you don't want to see is essentially Trump getting fired. He's out of a job by next May anyways. His term comes to an end. We just got to wait it out, or at least the president just needs to wait it out.
Today's crypto headlines were dominated by a sobering report from the Bank for International Settlements, which cautioned that the rapid rise of cryptocurrencies and decentralized finance might undermine traditional finance and widen the wealth gap. Highlighting that stablecoins have become the primary conduit for value transfers within the crypto ecosystem, the BIS urged targeted regulation to ensure reserve asset requirements and redemption guarantees during market stress. On the markets front, macroeconomist Lynn Alden adjusted her Bitcoin outlook after what she called a tariff kerfuffle triggered by U.S. trade announcements. While she still expects BTC to end 2025 above its current $85,000 level, Alden noted that only a massive liquidity injection, such as aggressive Federal Reserve easing, could catalyze the rally needed to hit loftier targets. Meanwhile, U.S. federal prosecutors in the Eastern District of New York confirmed on April 18 that they will press ahead with charges against former SafeMoon CEO Braden John Kearney, despite a Department of Justice memo discouraging regulation by prosecution in digital assets. Kearney faces conspiracy counts related to securities fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering over allegedly misappropriated S7 tokens between 2021 and 2022, a case whose outcome could set important legal precedents. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.